On this episode, we are going to discuss overcoming difficulty and objections and frustration. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning into the Think Status podcast. I'm Hector Diaz. I'm your host, producer, and engineer. And today's show, I wanted to talk about frustrations, overcoming objections, setbacks, and failures. You know, I've played hockey for most of my life. I've been playing hockey since I was 14, and it wasn't until I was probably in my 30s that we won a championship, and it was just in beer league. But I won it in 3 different divisions. The first one was in intermediate level hockey team. The one after that was in, I believe it was Division 1. It was Division 1. It was at the highest level. We went undefeated the entire season. And then my third championship I won was my 30 and over league. And we won the championship there with friends that I've been playing hockey with for 10 years, pickup hockey. And pickup hockey is different than league hockey because pickup hockey, you go out there and it's like pickup basketball where you just play for fun. And I'm telling you all this because I remember wanting to quit hockey before I won championships. And I was like, no, I just want to keep on playing because I love it. It's a lot of fun. And I want to be a champion. I want to give my very best and just give a full effort when I'm out there. And so that's why I still play hockey. When I was a kid and we were at the state championships, and I was so sad that we lost the playoff game that I walked out with my skates and ruined my skates because I walked out on the concrete with my equipment. I just took all my gear off in the car. It was pretty embarrassing, but I was so frustrated. I didn't want to cry in front of my teammates. But those devastating losses, if you take those with equanimity, with balance, you can use those failures to use as fuel to help you achieve the vision that you have for yourself. So another example is, today was a great example because I was supposed to interview a great guest on the show, but for some reason the technology was not working on my side of the thing. So I could have been very, very frustrated and angry, and I was frustrated, to be honest with you. And I ended up canceling my recording with her, but I ended up doing this one instead because I know I have to publish today, and that's why I'm talking about frustrations. And sometimes when you go through frustrations, it means that you're going to have a breakthrough. But the caveat is you have to be looking for the breakthrough, because if you're not looking for the breakthrough, you're never going to find it. If you keep focusing on what's frustrating and what sucks about the situation, you're going to keep getting more and more and more frustrated about the situation, especially if you can't control your emotions. So the best way that I've learned how to control my emotions and deal with objections and frustrations is take a deep breath and then let it out. Do that 3 times, and it should really, really help you overcome stressful situations. And not only that, it will clear your mind, and you should be able to think about the primary objective that you're going after, your primary target, your primary goal. And then once you're refocused, you can use these disappointments as stepping stones for future achievements. So now I'm going to be recording a video with Amanda Holmes, who is the daughter of Chet Holmes, who's a legendary sales trainer and businessman. And Amanda is very, very successful in her own right, and she has great following online. So I'm super excited about having her on the show. She's going to be she's going to be coming up in an upcoming episode. I've got another great guest that I'm super excited about having on as well. That is great because he's going to be talking about how he grew his company in just 4 years to a multi-million-dollar company. It's amazing. And the service they provide is amazing as well. So I'm very excited about these shows, but you can dwell on the failures. You can dwell on failures, you can dwell on success, but there's a balance, right? You don't want to dwell too much on your successes because then you'll start resting on your laurels. And then when you rest on your laurels, bad things tend to happen, you don't produce as much. But if you're focused on too much frustration, then you're devastated and you won't take any action because what's the use, right? You're too busy complaining and frustrated and angry that you just want to zone out or get a drink or do something. But But it's important to stay focused. What is your vision? What is the vision that you have for your life? What is the mission that you're on? What do you want to achieve with your life and in the business that you're in right now? So if you keep that in mind throughout the frustrations and you look for the breakthrough, you can definitely, take your life from where it is now to where you want it to go. And so from struggling as a janitor to earning over $1 million in 1 year, okay, that's his story. That's what he did. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. So he also says the quality of your life is the quality of your communication, number one, with yourself, and number two, with other people. So obviously, when you're frustrated, when you're dealing with a setback, when you're dealing with things that aren't going your way, you're talking to yourself in those moments of frustration, right? And so that's why the taking a deep breath, connecting your mind, connecting your heart, as woo-woo as that sounds, it actually works. And that's why it's like scientifically proven method for calming your stress levels. And so by breathing deeply, refocusing on the main objective, that will help you gain clarity on the next possible steps. And so that's why I'm recording this podcast today, because this was my today's experience just a few minutes ago. I got everything ready and it just didn't pan out the way we had expected, but it's something better is going to happen because of it. And that's another belief system that you could adopt that is extremely, extremely useful and powerful if you choose to adopt it. And if you believe, and not just believe, if you know with every fiber in your being that something wonderful is about to happen, then you can guide your focus. You can guide your focus to achieving what it is that you want for your life. And no matter what position you are in life right now, if you have a higher vision of where the next step is, then you'll be guided to that step and you'll know intuitively where to go. And if you don't get to the next step to where you wanted to go in the timing that you wanted to go, you should be moving in the right direction, even if you deal with massive failures. So I remember one time I was playing goalie, and it was a playoff game as well, and I got demolished. I mean, they beat me like 10 to like 3 or something really, really embarrassing. And I remember wanting to quit as well. And there's many times, where I've wanted to quit, but I kept on playing because champions know that they don't get wrapped up too much in the hype, and they don't get too distraught during the failures. And so keep that in mind as well. I mean, yes, you might have lost a real estate transaction. Yes, you might have lost a sale to a competitor. But if you use those failures as learning experiences, then you can use life in general to move you forward to the vision that you have for yourself. But the important thing is, where do you want to go, right? Where do you want to go in your life? Where do you want to go with your health, with your wealth, with your relationships? And if you know the categories, health, wealth, and relationships, those are the three primary categories in life. And if you know what you want out of those three areas, you should be able to carve your destiny the way you want it. And yes, there are moments of failure. And yes, things aren't fair all the time. But it's your choice. It's your choice to focus on. You can focus on how terrible everything is, or you can focus on how something amazing is about to happen and then take action. All right. Take daily, relentless, obsessive action. If you want to be like Grant Cardone, relentless, obsessive, consistent action. And intelligence really, really helps as well, right? If you want to be more intelligent, surround yourself with more intelligent people, right? I know that I could have continued my podcast 5 years ago when I started it, but because I had nobody telling me to continue the podcast, I quit. I quit after about 10 episodes. And now I learned that podcasting is a great way of building your personal brand. So I could be totally upset about that. And I'm not, because I know that I've learned that podcasting is something that I'm committed to doing now. And I have it more commitment now than I ever have before, because I know the value of podcasting. I know the value of creating video and creating content and being consistent with it. And I learned it the hard way, because I would probably be in a different spot than I am now had I continued podcasting without stopping. So that's going to wrap up episode number 4 of the Think Status podcast with Hector Diaz. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please give us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you heard this. Subscribe to our channel if you're listening to this on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at ThinkStatus on Instagram. And music from today's episode is brought to you by El Rio Los Angeles. Follow them on Instagram, El Rio Los Angeles. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you on the next one.
Llueve fuego del cielo, quemando a los que me quieren matar. Por causa de soberbia, mi piel morena me protegerá. Camino por las calles, el fuego alrededor de mí. Todo comienza a caer. Regresan a su lugar, el río comienza a fluir, miro hacia el cielo, el sol y las nubes, 1000 pajaritos al cantar, ay la ra ra, canta la ra y la ra, cantará ira, ira, ira. Cantar, 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 cantará. Después mi gente se levanta, quitándose el traje de Babilonia, bailando ahora en vestido tradicional. La primavera ha regresado y el verano corazones calentará. Pronto que pronto nos convertiremos en la tierra, unidos con el mundo germinaremos con ella. Ojos serán hojas comiendo del sol y la mente se abrirá como una flor.